Well, all week long here in Southern California, the talk was about just how hot it was going to be here on Sunday. Yesterday during practice, it was well past 100 degrees, but the riders got a little bit of a reprieve. In fact, it's about mid-90s, a little bit of overcast. No one is having to worry about the weather like we thought before, but as Bubba told us at the end of the first moto, he's from Florida, it doesn't really matter anyway. And again, this is James Stewart's last 125 National Moto. He wins this one. He shatters his own record, 11 wins in one season.
All right, thank you, Davey, for the knowledge. As we get set for Moto number 2, we take a look at our Honda starting grid. It's Stewart, Hepler, Brown, Walker, Ramsey, Desco, Millsap, Smith, Josh Grant back in there, so he's got his mechanical fix. Chris Gosler, who had a great run, as did Greg Schnell in Moto number 1. With this being the final Moto in 125 for our man, Mr. 259, Bubba Stewart, what do you expect from him, BJ?
Well, I mean, obviously he's going to go for it. He wants to win. He wants to put the 4-stroke on the podium, at the top of the podium, and he probably wants to beat everyone by 2 minutes.
It's the final run for James Bubba Stewart in the 125 class. His 259 nonchalantly comes out of the pack on that big 4-stroke. And he's going to pick up a hole shot with Nate Ramsey to his left.
This is the first hole shot we've seen from Bubba since Mont Morris earlier this year, which is kind of a surprise because that uphill start there, but man, it's gone already.
Bubba's got a brand new toy. So as the pack continues to thin out, James Stewart starts to pull away, and if you're just joining us, he is on the 4-stroke, and he is making it work. Nate Ramsey, though, got a great start. He currently sits in second. Here comes Walker and Tedesco on the inside.
Imagine if James wasn't out front. This would be our battle for first right now.
And it'd be a great battle. Ivan Tedesco would be in second. Number 29 on board the Kawasaki. Another pro circuit rider, Matt Walker, 122, the other green bike, and Nate Ramsey on the Honda, number 25.
Look at this. Bubba's not even in the picture anymore. He's so far out front. We're halfway through the first lap.
Brock Hepler having a great run. He gets into the mix. Hepler now sits in 4th place, number 60 on board the Suzuki out of Kittanning, Pennsylvania. He had a great run, and we got
Kawasaki down. That's Matt Walker.
Well, he showed Davey Coombs his road rash on the right arm. It looks like he may be adding to that, gets the bike up and going immediately, so it looks like he's going to drop about 8 positions. Here's a spot where Ivan Tedesco had his problems in Moto number 1. He's picking a nice little rut there. Oh! Brock Hepler, as we say that, does almost exactly what Ivan Tedesco did, but unfortunately he's not popping up as fast.
A little later down the straight, it looks like he landed on his upper body, his shoulder really hard. Same thing though, cross-rutted. And it's 10 times as rough as now as it was earlier today.
Well, the flat snake bite, another rider, as Brock Hepler goes down hard. We're going to replay that momentarily. Meanwhile, the racing goes on, and Smith and Gosler now have a battle.
That's Danny Smith, Little Goose up there again in 5th. And with Walker in the back, Hepler possibly out of the race. Goose is looking for his first podium here. Which honestly, Todd, I think he's been riding good enough today that he could have got it if those guys ran her out.
Oh, man. So a series of crashes here on the first lap. The first one coming with Matt Walker, BJ. What went wrong here?
Just comes down the hill. He's looking ahead. He's looking forward. Oh, man, he got, twice. And they're coming down this hill hard. I mean, whatever speed you're going at the top of the hill, you're going to be carrying that same speed at the bottom of the hill, and I don't think they intentionally meant to hit him, but...
Yeah. Guys, check it out. This is the rookie, Tommy Hahn, pulling into the pits, apparently involved in a pileup. Donnie McGordy from Team Green is also out, and we still have not seen Brock Hepler, although Lee McCollum is taking the tool belt off, so it sounds like our first moto runner-up is out of this moto, and Tommy Hahn is at the back of the pack.
I think I cut off by DC there. I mean, there's a lot of guys going out already.
Yeah, great report, Davey Coombs. Unfortunately, in that first lap, a lot of speed. Boy, I tell you, Matt Walker was lucky to have his melon still attached.
Yeah, as I was saying, I mean, we're going to see that hill again here shortly. They don't mean to come down the hill that fast, but whatever you turn the power on at the top of the hill is what you're going to be carrying at the bottom. And, you know, Matt just slid out. That's all there was to it. And he's down again.
Well, this might be carryover from that first injury. Matt Walker, tough as nails. Looks like they're working on his left-hand side. There's Lee McCollum bringing in Brock Hepler's bike.
Lee, what happened?
I don't know, really. The best that I can tell you is that he crashed somewhere back in the back where nobody could really see, and He landed on his shoulder, hurt his shoulder, but he's up and walking. He's conscious, so I don't think he's banged up too bad, but he did hurt his shoulder.
Well, at least you guys clinched second in the standings in the first moto, if that's any consolation.
Yeah, he had a good first moto, and we were looking to have a good second moto, but not to be. So second place is good, though, and we accomplished what we wanted to. Thanks.
Todd, this is nothing but a war zone here. The last moto of the season, and the top guys are getting hurt. Let's look at it right there, cross, right? You see that? The front tire was all the way to the left. The back tire was at the right side. And just spinning right off.
I couldn't tell if it was the left or the right shoulder. More problems down in the pit area.
Guys, I was just talking to Ken Fott, former dirt rider, about what happened. Walker went off the track. When he tried to come back in, a couple journalists lifted the banners up. He got him caught in his front wheel, and he tried to take off. It locked the front wheel up and threw him over the handlebars. So that's what happened to Matt Walker.
All right, thank you, Davey. I tell you, Matt Walker cannot buy a break. Meanwhile, another Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider, Ivan Tedesco, carries on the banner, and here comes the rest of the field.
After Ivan's crash in the first moto, I found out he crashed and then had some problems with the motor, some oil leaking out from that crash. So a 39th and a DNF from him. He's running second now.
Unbelievable.
And Danny Smith running third place. This is the first time we've seen him up in the podium, running up the podium this year.
Being chased by number 35, that is Chris Gosler, having a great run here at Glen Helen. When we come back, we'll see how this whole thing shakes down after this.
It probably started with your dad on a dirt road.
Limited. Welcome back to Glen Helen. That is Brock Hepler walking away. It looks like the left shoulder where he went down the hardest. Meanwhile, James Bubba Stewart continues to lead here in Moto number 2. This is the 12th and final round of the AMA Chevrolet Motocross Championship. Todd Harris along with B.J. Smith in the house and Davey Coombs manning the track. Great battle for third place right here. Smith, Ramsey, Gosler all contending.
No change so far in this battle. Smith still up in the podium position. It's nice to see that. Whoa, what happened there?
Danny Smith, the Boost Mobile Yamaha trail rider. Did the bike just...
I don't know. Both those guys went to the outside. He went to the inside. He was already out of view.
It came to a stop.
Looked like his bike was doing a dance.
Unbelievable. Meanwhile, the race goes on. That is 35, Chris Gosler. So he moved up yet another position. So the Goose, by virtue of attrition, is moving up the ladder.
And Todd, I guess right now we got Tedesco in second, Ramsey in third, Gosler in fourth. Well, Schnell's out of it.
Man, Greg Schnell now, he's got some serious legs. You can just look at that left side. Not wanting to put any pressure on that left boot.
That's on the way up one of the hills there.
Yeah, Greg Schnell's a pretty tough guy, so that's got to be somewhat of a serious injury. Meanwhile, Nathan Ramsey now sits in third, so Gosler's in fourth.
As I was saying earlier, a 4-4 right now would give Gosler second place overall, and Ramsey 11th in the first moto. I don't know, we'd have to check some other results, but depending on where Kelly Smith is right now, the battle for the podium is third place is looking kind of ugly as far as results
exactly.
go.
Mine's back a few stops ago with Paul Carpenter. Had a great first moto, had a terrible second one, still ended up on the podium, picked up a refrigerator from his good friend James Stewart. So Nate Ramsey starting to dance around just a little bit. Meanwhile, Chris Gosler's having a tremendous run. Speaking of Gosler, let's send it back down to Davey Coombs and check in with his mechanic.
Well, Frankie, kind of a crazy start to this moto. Both Hepler and Walker go out. You guys are fourth the first moto. Looking good for that first podium outdoors.
Yeah, it is. Chris has been working really hard, and hopefully things go our way and something can work out.
You going to tell them that the other two guys are out?
I don't know. I'll leave that up to management, but right now we just want him to charge and get a gap, and then I would say a little later in the moto we will.
But that's the last thing I think he needs to hear right now, that his teammates are out. I mean, he's battling for his first ever podium outdoors. Lots of podiums in Supercross, but none in the outdoors. And here's a kid who in '98 pulled his first ever hole shot ever, just like Josh Grant did this year at Hangtown.
Well, I say just let him ride, because the way he's riding right now, he's giving Nate Ramsey all that he can handle. And Ramsey was right up there at the hole shot with James Bubba Stewart. Look at this, Gosler trying to go to the inside.
Goose a little bit lighter than Ramsey, can carry a little more speed up that straight. It's smooth. You'll see guys pulling their hands off the handlebar and waving to their friends who are on the sidelines along that straight. It's the only smooth reprieve, and there's the pass.
So Gosler gets it done. And I'll tell you what, he's adding the most pressure on himself. He doesn't need to hear about his other teammates. Just let him ride. Chris Gosler now sitting in third place and having a tremendous ride here at Glen Helen.
Yeah, he's been practicing with the best. I mean, he's been staying with Ricky Carmichael this summer, like we said. You know, he's been given all the advice he can handle this summer.
This is Moto number 2 from Glen Helen. Your leader is James Bubba Stewart. Ivan Tedesco sits in second, and Chris Gosler in third. Nathan Ramsey fourth. And we slide back to Mike Brown, number 3 Yamaha rider, who will be making his home in Europe in the coming years.
And if I were Mike Brown right now, considering the top talent that we had already go out of the race, I'd just be playing it safe.
Yeah, but when has Brownie ever played it safe?
Well, you can't. He's always wide open. That's one of the things you can argue right now. It's the last motor of the season. I mean, do you play it safe? Do you just, what's the word I'm looking for? Do you just kind of take a dive almost? But no, you can't. These fans come out to see these guys try their hardest. They want to see their heroes run. These guys all want to win. It's in their blood. It's what they do. It's how they make their living.
Not to mention the sponsor pressure that, you know, they want them to do a great ride for them. You lay down for a sponsor, and maybe the next time you do a sign with somebody, they're like, oh, I remember that Glen Helen race when you phoned it into Moto 2.
Exactly. That's why you got a guy like Brock Hepler, who's got Rookie of the Year and second place wrapped up, and he's still charging as hard as he can.
So the battle rages on here at Glen Helen. Let's send it down trackside one more time in Davey Coombs.
Been a lot of activity in this moto, but Kelly's putting together another solid moto. You guys are battling for a podium.
We hope so. We're looking at, I think Gosler and Ramsey are going to make it in front of us, but he's going to push it hard. It's the last go-around, so we're going to give it everything we got.
A nice effort for the last race of the year.
You bet. Yeah, he's had his head somewhere else. His wife's at home about to have a baby, so he's pushing hard. We hope we can do it.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
Well, there's your answer. That's where his head is. He's trying to keep that bike rubber side down and get on that podium. Meanwhile, thinking about his wife at home. Your leader, James Stewart. What's he thinking about? You asked this earlier, BJ. What's going through his mind on his brand new toy? He's out there just lighting up the field.
He's probably thinking about which car he should drive tomorrow morning when he gets home. That or how far out front can I get in this moto?
And as always, our thoughts and prayers with his family and those affected by the latest hurricane to come through. When we come back, we'll find out if the hurricane that is James Stewart can wrap this thing up after this.
Michael Jordan returns for a special one-on-one basketball spectacular. All right, let's play. There's only one hitch.
You can't get by that.
He's playing Damon Wayans. My Wife and Kids 1 hour premiere Tuesday, 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
And we are back to Glen Helen. This is the AMA Chevrolet Motocross Championships, the 9th annual Giant RV AMA Nationals at Glen Helen. Todd Harris along with BJ Smith and Davey Coombs, and this is a great battle as Smith has got ahead of Brown.
Yep, it's finally paid off. Smith may be in line for that last podium spot.
Give me footsteps.
6'5" for a podium.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's kind of like musical chairs when you have that many riders go down early on. Everyone's scrambling to move up the ladder.
That's what he did at Unadilla. He got a 6'5", got on the podium.
So we come to the waning moments of Moto number 2 as we put a wrap on the 2004 outdoor season. And what a season it's been, headlined by the domination again of James Bubba Stewart, but a lot of great riding by riders like Danny Smith, Kelly Smith, Mike Brown, and the rest. The list goes on and on.
And that's the funny thing. You look at the point spread. I mean, you're looking at 175 plus points from first to second. The battle for first would have been unbelievable had Stewart not been here, but
right. It is what it is, and James Bubba Stewart is exactly that, a dominating factor on the scene as he makes the jump next year to the 250 class. Meanwhile, it's been clear sailing for him, and look at him whip that thing around. I mean, it's a heavier bike, it's a bigger bike.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter. 50 plus seconds. You gotta be kidding me. So a relatively easy day for Jeremy Albrecht, and after last week to welcome his new son, a little stress off him. A new bike for his rider, BJ, but like you said, it just doesn't matter.
You know, we're doing about 13 laps on this track today with 30 minutes plus 2 laps and 52 seconds My math isn't that good, but that's 4 seconds a lap.
It's fast. That's
I mean,
all you're saying.
He comes up Mount St. Helens, jumps right into the corner, powers down the hill.
Unbelievable. Let's spend a moment with Davey Coombs.
J-Bone, wild start to this moto, but your guy right up there like clockwork.
Yeah, it was cool. You know, we haven't really got any hole shots in a while, I think, since Mount Morris, which was kind of a surprise on uphill. But, yeah, it's cool to see him out front. He's going for it. We're having fun with a new bike. 4-stroke's always cool to ride, and looks like he likes it.
When are you guys going to clean out the lockers that goes full-time KX250?
Anaheim. From then on, we're going for it. He'll be good.
And that's what everybody wants to see.
Yep. January 8th, 2005, that man will be lining up on the 250, probably main event starting grid with Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed, Travis Pastrana, Jeremy McGrath, Tim Ferry, as the list goes on and on, David Villeman.
That's one heck of a lineup right there.
Oh my gosh, maybe the best ever assembled in the sport of supercross or motocross as James Stewart begins what is the farewell tour for the folks that turned out to Glen Helen despite the heat and the dust and the difficult time getting here. James has certainly made it worth their while.
And this is it. He's going for his 28th career motocross win and only 31 starts.
As the checkered flag comes out, your winner for the final time in the 125 class, Moto 2 winner and overall winner on the day at Glen Helen, James Stewart Jr. on board the Kawasaki. As we take a look at our Suzuki final results, it's Stewart, Tedesco, and Chris Gosler going top 3, so tremendous performance by the Goose. And his dad, very proud. Ricky Carmichael's mechanic, Mike Gosler, there to greet his son and tell him the news. You got it. Let's check in with Davey.
Well, James, that is the way to close out a 125 career. That might have been the most convincing win of all, and you do it in your last race on a 250F.
Man, I tell you, man, it's been a great 125 career. You know, I broke the record, like you said earlier, for all the most wins in the season. And, man, I tell you, man, I'm going to miss this class. You know, it's moving uptown now, and I hope I can continue doing the same thing. And, you know, I just want to thank everybody. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to James on a successful career and a championship as we take a look at the Suzuki overalls. It's Stewart, Gosler, and Ramsey on the podium.
Well, Chris, congratulations, man. Second overall.
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, this is my first outdoor podium ever. I mean, it feels so good.
I seen your dad come over here. He's got Carmichael on the starting line, but you can see the look in his face. He's real excited.
Yeah, I mean, I want to thank Ricky and Jeannie and Big Rick and Ursula, the whole family. I stayed there all summer, and Ricky's helped me just so much, and I owe it all to him.
Good job.
Thank you.
Now, there you see the final standings on the year. Bubba Stewart goes 575 and picks up yet another title. Brock Hepler will get second. Mike Brown will get third overall. It has been a fantastic season here on the AMA Chevrolet Motocross Circuit.